minor league TagPro draft. I'm your host Zvonvok, and I'm excited to be here tonight for the minors draft. I think we've already. Is that true? We've already started? I don't know. Let me switch over. Here, looks like. I don't know if they're testing things or not, but if not, this might be real. No one ever tells me anything, so I don't know, but we'll see. Not a test. We're live. All right. Good to hear it. So, the first nomination up for tonight is Two Nuts. And some early bids, pretty slow rolling so far. But this will be a bit of a longer draft than usual since unlike previous seasons, the GMs will not have any initial players selected, so there will be 4 players drafted to each team in this auction draft. And so, we're starting all the teams on equal footing, 200 coins each. We saw this happening with last night's draft for majors as well. And still pretty slow rolling, up to 25 now. But, oops. Let's see, I haven't actually set up this big board on the right correctly to have it automatically updating, but yeah, we're still going up. I expect it to go up at least a little bit more. Only at 32 right now for Curious. Yeah, CB13 is not on the big board, that's right. But I think I copied this over the list that I had from let's see. Oh wait, let me keep that music on. And he was still on it, but people have said he's not actually available, but that is actually it. So 32 for Two Nuts, first pick of the night, going over to Ball Anka and Sergeant Ducky of Curious. Alright, I'm gonna see if the cards are still going to be posted, the trading cards that happen. If so, I'm going to have them up. But we'll see. Okay, let's see. Alright, the second nomination is up. Duke of Yore. He captained the team last season, I believe. Not that I pay attention that much. But very quickly jumping up. He's up to 40 now, 45. I expect this one to continue to go up. I just sort of wonder what the captain's strategies are. Turn down the music a little. Yes, I can't do that. Because the unlike say the majors draft like last night, there really aren't the same like super top tier players that are much above the rest. So Um, you know, it's sort of a question of how many coins are you willing to go for your initial player. But if you're having 200 coins, spending at least something like 80 to 100 is not unreasonable, I would think. And we'll see what happens with Duke of Yor. Definitely one of the bigger names. Up now to 77. Yeah, it is. Well, of course, Joy is always in chat saying how he thinks he shouldn't be going for so much, but you know, I mean, definitely agree with Two Nuts should have gone for a lot higher considering how Joy is going. Not that Joy isn't a good player, he certainly is, but I think the same, well, not quite the same, but a similar thing happened last night where the very first pick was okay then, and I'm not sure if people weren't really sure, but okay then went for a little bit less than Ty, who went just after him, even though many would argue that okay then is a better player in the number one pick from last night. So up now to 93 now for Curry. We'll see if we cross the century mark, see if anyone's willing to go for 100. So that's half their coins, which, you know, 100 sounds like a lot, but half your coins is really not all that much if you think having, you know, a star player is really worth it. So doesn't look like anyone yet. Now Smalley does go up to 95. Alright, and let's see if I can get the... Okay, 96 now. Seems to be just Curry and Smalley bigs competing. Very slow rolling right now, though. I don't actually know if there's like a... In theory, there's some official timer for how long there is in between after someone bids until you, like, how long you have until the next bid, but no one's biting anymore, so that will be it. 96 coins for Duke of Yor over to Holden Gate Warriors. That's a pretty similar to, well, one of the highest, perhaps one of the higher, highest valued players that we'll see going tonight. 96 is quite a bit, and Curry did a similar situation going for okay then as the number one pick and one of the highest valued players in the Majors draft. Next up though is Gasol. Gasol has been away from TagPro for a few seasons. Last played, the packet says mLTP season 18, so that's about a 4-season break, but he is back, and certainly a number of people seem to think he's still got it. Got a few different captains have already been bidding. Alright, let's see. I'm gonna try to have... there, now we can see those draft cards up. Hopefully you can see those. Gasol, meanwhile, up to 43, 44. Curry is again in a bidding war, this time with Tanchu, but perhaps trying to get 2 top players right off the bat. Tanchu isn't going to let him get it this easily, though. If Curry is going to get it, he's probably going to have to spend the majority of his coins. Tanchu power move up to 65 and to 70. Now up to 80 for Tantru. So yeah, Curry's still going for it though. So only 104 coins left to spend, and going for Gasol would almost use up all of his coins with only half the roster filled. But we'll see up to 82. I wonder if well, let's see. I think Curry at least is trying to get others to spend nearly as much as he spent for Drew Vior. Can't trust a stream without a face cam. True, that's a good point. My computer can barely handle spreadsheets though, so if anyone remembers watching the mover ball here when my computer managed to overheat after game 2, so that was fun. But that will end this bidding, as Gasol will end up as the first player on the Red Hot Chili Poppers Miners team for 85 Thai coins. Alright, so my next goal is to fix my spreadsheet so that the best available will actually automatically update instead of having all of other people. But next up is VZ, who is also similar to Gasol, coming off of a pretty significant break from TagPro, but he does have majors minutes, so he's quite experienced. He actually played majors a few seasons. Season 17 partially on Holy Rollers, majors and minors, and in season 16 on Pi Curious. But I'm not sure, I haven't seen much of him recently, so I'm not sure, maybe captains are a little bit hesitant in terms of rustiness or availability, so a little bit slower, but certainly a few different captains are looking for possibly picking him up. Alright, we're gonna try to fix the spreadsheet, maybe. Alright, meanwhile VZ very slowly going up, but up to 30, considering, looking back after these 85, 96, and now VZ's already up to 31, Two Nuts is, again, it's looking like such a good pick, and a good start for Pi Curious. Alright, let's see. What was I doing? Alright. VZ now still going up to 56 now. Jarvis Landry has been in a few of these. He's bidded on a few of these players, and I think he really wants to get his #1 pick pretty early to get one of those top players on his team. And that will do it. VZ will be a Miami Dolphin. 56 coins, and that'll be Jarvis Landry's first pickup of the evening. Next up, the nomination is I Love HD. HD coming off of a, I believe did he win a Nooper last season? With Manipulation Station? And again, these making into pretty significant margins. Got a few different players, or a few different captains bidding already. We got Tanchu, Smalley, Anka, all bidding. So far, we're still really waiting for Spheroid and CCJ. Haven't really done much of anything. Not many bids from any of them yet. Griff jumps in with a 60 to push it even higher. Again, still really at least a three-way battle. Looks like Pi Curious might have dropped out after the 60 move, but Smalley, Griff, Tanchu all definitely in consideration. Up to the nice 69 from Smalley Biggs. See if that'll do it. Not enough though. Oh my goodness, what did I do? Sorry. This is my. I accidentally set up. I set up. What did I did like the hotkeys things when I tried to do some streams before, and I accidentally made them global and accidentally clicked some buttons. I should just get rid of those. Meanwhile though, HD still on the board, up to 76 at this point. We'll see if he'll cross the Gasol mark of 85. But no, that'll be it. That'll be 76 for HD over to Griff's team, and G6 picks up their first player of the night. Okay, I think we should fix that thing. Alright, we're up. Next up is Zig. We're up to 55 from Jarvis. Zig did well in. Let's see, he was in minors last season. Sorry about all the other random stuff going on. I'm just trying to fix a couple things. Meanwhile, Zig is up to 78 now for Jarvis Landry. We do see, all the remaining captains looking for their first player now bidding. CCGA and Spheroid are having a couple of bids of their own, but 80 now from Smalley Biggs. I think, yeah, this one I expect to pass. I think it could easily go over 90, but we'll see what happens. CCGA with the Holy Seahawks, as we saw last night for his majors team, opted to go for a bit more of a balanced team, where it didn't go for one of the star majors players. Really, the top 5 or 6 maybe that people were thinking were worth so many tag coins, and it's not quite the same situation, of course, with not as skewed a skill disparity, but perhaps a similar strategy. CCGA just looking for the right players for the right prices, and so far been a bit out of his price range perhaps, as Zig does end up going for 86, as Mr. Papa's Penguins and Smalley Biggs picks up their first player for the minors team. So we've got 6 players drafted, and so far evenly 1 for each team, with the exception of Snipe Hunt and the Holy Seahawks. Alright, let's see. Alright, next up is Team. Was, I believe, called up partway through. Oops. There's my yeah, I knew I would make that mistake, but that's alright. Okay. Team's now up to 50. I'm gonna hide that. Oh nice, and my best available is broken now too. Perfect. One thing at a time, right? Team now up to 63. Looks like it's a battle between Holy Seahawks, still waiting for their first player, and G6, looking for their to round out half their team. Whoa, alright, wait one sec. We have someone who actually knows things now here about minor league TagPro. It's Q42.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far to say
Well,
I know things, but here I am.
Hopefully you know more of the players than I do, because, you know, there's that.
Together, our collective knowledge might be able to be greater than the sum of its parts.
Yeah. Alright,
Can you
so
send me a link to the spreadsheet also?
I can, yes. And I'll make sure to not do that on stream. Maybe. Alright, cool. I'm ready. Oops. Alright, meanwhile, team is up to 69. Everybody say nice in chat. INT goes for 69. I mean, what more could you ask for? First pickup for the Holy Seahawks is team.
Big. That's a good pickup, I think. If I remember correctly, he was started in minors last season, then got run, just was like one of the best O players in novice. Plenty of minors experience. Certainly this season will be probably a lead O player on that team. And I don't know if CC is thinking about this, about like this season your minors picks are, you know, correlate to the majors team. And I'm actually curious if any of these captains are going to be kind of being a little more aware of that, like trying to get a minors pick and might be able to sub in for majors if necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely one of the big things that some people in chat have mentioned, but I haven't talked about yet, is that this sort of going back to the old format of reuniting majors and minors, which I'm happy to see. Personally, I liked that part of mLTP before.
Yeah, same. I think it's a good switch back, and I mean, at the very worst, we'll see how it kind of operates in a modern era of TagPro, whatever, however different that is, I'm not sure. But like, the DEP system was not ideal, having lived it too many times.
Yeah.
It's not great, and I think this is going to be good. Bubbles up on the board, bidding from 4 different captains for Bubbles. Definitely going to be another top O player in minors this season. Oh wow, the stats are even imported there for us. How nice.
Yeah.
9.690 gasp. Always been a solid player. Kind of a minors mainstay at this point. He's dropped the phase tag from his name this year. It's interesting to note.
It was phase bubbles. Alright, let's see if now when I update it, it'll auto update to be the best available. Maybe. Who knows? possible. Let's see. So yeah, it should be right. So Screeb was drafted, but then dropped pretty quickly and replaced by Rob Delaney, I believe.
Yep. Yeah, Squeeb is. It's interesting that he hasn't been nominated yet, because at least in majors last night, and what seems to be a pretty common trend, is that like the best players available get nommed right away. But I guess I don't know. Just the captains aren't going for that this time around. I think, at least statistically, he's probably one of the best defenders available, if not the best. Certainly someone you can build a team around. So. Has that sphere ping too, which is not to be underrated. And Bubbles the Griff. So that's half her team done already.
Alright, yeah, so that'll be the first team with 2 players. Very exciting. Still Spheroid, the only team now left without a player, but lots of good talent available. As we mentioned, Squeeb. There's also Sevens, Will, Yis, lots ASAP, lots of good players still available.
Yeah, for sure. And technically, Spheroid does have a free shot at whoever he wants right now if he wanted, but I would imagine. Oh, there's Squeeb, so it'll be interesting how this goes. If Spheroid really wants him, he can get him for 168, but I'd imagine he won't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely expect this one to go up pretty high. We haven't seen, now that teams are left with just over 50% of their tag coins for the most part after spending for their first player, we'll see how high the second round of players are really going to go.
Yeah. I think sometimes what happens in the minors draft and the NLTP draft even more so, is that like people have a kind of a smaller list of who they're looking for, because the lower round picks, there's no like kind of defined ideas about who is like the best. Like for majors, there was probably only realistically 40 people who could have gone to major, but everyone has their own sleeper picks for minors, like NLTP.
Right.
And so you tend to get the late rounds being just kind of nominate for 0 and win them for 0. At least historically, but with 200 coins, that might be a little different this year. Also with, I don't know what the exact number is, but the cutoff for call-ups is going to be interesting to see, like, kind of how deep people go for that also.
Yeah, and
maybe we'll see some more competition late into the draft, maybe not.
Yeah, so I definitely, I wonder how prepared captains are for that. I feel like you said, captains maybe should be prepared to spend basically all their tag coins for 2 players and think, there are going to be some solid players left at the end that I can get for just a few. And maybe you're okay with that. Maybe you think there's someone who sort of a diamond in the rough that you don't think other people don't know about as much, or, don't believe in as much, so.
Yeah, exactly. Currently, CC and Tancher going back and forth on Squeeb. Don't think he'll be, like, considered for a major sub on either of those teams, both of them with pretty solid locks at those positions. Probably 2 of the better defenses in majors, depending on who you ask. But
yep, we're up to 91. This is pretty close to being the highest player so far. So far, 96 for Duke of Yor, but very close to beating that.
I wouldn't. Tantru, notorious bitter upper.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if he goes for more. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tantru will. I think we'll hit this 100 at least, and I think we'll, as we sort of mentioned, that we'll be willing. We'll see these teams are pretty much willing to spend most of the remaining tag coins. So CCGA does have the slight advantage here with, if you wanted to, you could go 115 to knock out Tantru, but that's a bit of a ways off right now.
Yeah. Part of me wants to say that Squeeb and Team played together at some point in the past, like a while ago, but I could be totally wrong there. I'm gonna do some TPL research.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh man, I had a, you've posted a couple times the 6 degrees of TagPro, right?
Yeah.
I wrote a script at some point to do just like a breadth first search looking for people, so I could probably check easily, but it doesn't have all of everything. But
yeah, that's dedication.
Well, it was for fun. Anyway,
Yeah.
Squeeb does finally go for 98 over to the Red Hot Chili Poppers. So now Gasol and Squeeb are the two top players of that team, looking like a pretty solid team, but only 17 tag coins left.
Definitely looking like one of those one strong player at each position, fill in with sleepers type drafts from Tantru. But I think Gasol and Squeeb are two pretty darn good picks for that. Maybe the best at each position in this draft, depending on how Gasol returns to form and how you rate Squeeb as like a pure defender versus two-way ball, like clearly similar to Joy, but Joy's probably better on O. Anyways, close. Maybe the best at each position. So, interesting to see how that team will round out.
Yep. And yes, delete draft.
We have a couple people in the chat.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go.
Oh, well, so, if I was hoping that the big board thing would automatically do it now that I was just like actually importing from the real big board, but apparently not. So I might just hand type in when people get drafted. We'll see. Okay. So that my best available.
Yeah, a couple people in chats saying that Squeeb and Team were played together in season 15 minors.
Ah, okay.
Shout out to Anduin and then Lamatron.
Oh yeah,
Yes is on the board.
Yeah, very nice. So yeah, you don't like this song? This song is a random thing, free, royalty-free whatever song that I found, and it will be on repeat for the next 2 hours unless I decided to look for something else. So I apologize for that.
It fits the monotony of the draft, honestly.
Yeah.
Up by one, up by one, up by one.
In my defense,
actually,
yeah, I only well, I only planned on. Well, I only decided to stream this 3 hours ago, and so I had to make, of course, the mLTP draft logo. Very exciting, but
that's a clean logo.
Well, I mean, it's literally just the NFL draft logo, but you copy the mLTP logo on top of it, so. But don't tell anyone. It's a secret.
I didn't hear anything. Alright. Yeah, just to mention, yes, he's currently being bid up to 65. I don't know if he's planning on playing defense or offense again this season. Maybe someone can tell me. If he is on defense, he's definitely one of the best defenders in minors. Certainly up there with Squeeb and others. Just because I mentioned Squeeb being one of the best as well. Yeah, if he's playing D, easily top player. If he's playing O, which it says, I guess he is on the board, but I don't think there's actually positional restrictions.
Yeah, I didn't know that's come up.
It'll be an interesting situation of, is he playing O? Is he playing D? What's going on? But certainly solid at O, but better on defense.
Yeah. Well, he is up to 80, so only 3 or so players have gone for 80 plus so far tonight.
And I guess if he goes to Curious, that would be their defense. Oh no, wait, Yes is maybe playing offense. I'm a fool. Probably playing offense, considering that's what he signed up as. Yes, in the chat saying IDK to what position he's playing. So who knows? But he has gone to Curious, so it's F team. If that's a defense, I think that is a absolutely scary defense to go up against. I haven't seen Tunuts play a whole lot, but I think his stats are pretty self-explanatory and continued success. If Yes is on offense, I still think that's a pretty solid start to the offense just because Yes is a smart player and will contribute a lot of game knowledge and just experience to the team regardless of position.
Yep, and very exciting Magic Pigeon now being bidded on. Last
I'm
nominated.
very excited for this thing. I hope someone picks him up because I think this is actually an insanely good pick. Maybe he might get, no one's bid yet, and maybe he'll get renominated later. One of those types of deals.
Yeah.
Because people are afraid of getting their picks early and then like missing out on someone. But there's no question of his talent. It's just the ping. But he's proven to be pretty good on Dallas in spite of that. Yeah, I'm personally biased. I think I'm a big fan of MP and his play. I think someone should pick him up. I hope the captains are just waiting to get him later.
Yeah, I agree. I think there haven't been, certainly compared to past years, there haven't been many Europeans in the upper levels of TagPro recently. I think, but it used to be much more common, and even if the ping is not great, the game sense is there. The TagPro IQ is there as well. So
yeah, I think there's two things have changed. One, like most of the players who used to do that just don't play anymore. I'm thinking of like Shara, Sam, Deadman, kind of
right.
Used to be kind of some of the big names. And also Dallas only has
That's
effectively
tough.
made it about twice as difficult for some of those players as opposed to those like radius minor teams. So MP did not get drafted, and we're up to Ginseng. Right. Hoping to see MP pop up later. Personal bias. Ginseng, another very, very strong player. I think majors and then got dropped last season.
That sounds reasonable. I don't know. It sounds like something that could have happened.
Yeah, or maybe it was 2 seasons ago. Maybe 2 seasons ago. Quick TPL, yeah. Either way, yeah, very talented player. I think could be, again, a top defender in minors. If he's playing defense, if he's playing offense, he's also good at offense. Good two-way player, flexible. Yeah, I think another one of the top tier. Maybe questions of like commitment, I don't know. I haven't seen him around a whole lot, but he's active in the Discord at least, so that counts for something, I think. Not a TPM grinder per se, but still plays egg ball a lot, actually, I think. Like one of the better egg ballers.
Raven says, isn't Jin Monday restricted? That I don't know. I also don't know about if restrictions mean anything these days.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'll be honest. I trust that the people in charge have figured things out.
Yeah. All right. After popular demand, we're looking for music to switch to. Very exciting. Let's see if I can find some though. I might just play some TagPro music because that's what I usually do when I stream TagPro.
Seems about right. And ginseng to the Miami Dolphins for 54, which feels like a steal. If he's that's a really good pickup, a really strong start to the team with two experienced players, and still 90 coins to spend. So like hypothetically could get another one of the players like in that level if prices were linear and consistent. But I mean, VZ and Ginseng have been around for a while. VZ might need to de-rest a little for sure, but I trust in him.
All right, so we have
I'm
some.
liking the Dolphins so far.
Yeah, we have some new music. Let me know if it's too loud. It might be too loud. But we're sticking with TagPro music because TagPro is a game that we play, at least usually. But yeah, so
Or at least watch.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep coming back to Spheroid. He's still waiting for first pick, so I'm not sure what he's waiting for. A lot of big names have come off the board. He's got lots of coins to work with, but we'll see what his plan is.
Yeah, I'm concerned for Spheroid, not just because he hasn't gotten anyone yet, which is a little concerning because I think the big names are gone. But the problem is, instead of last night, where like 5 teams picked up someone for 120-ish, or at least Odrid, that kind of cleared out the coins for CC to come in and pick up a bunch of players for mid prices. But players haven't gone for that much to be able to get away with that strategy in this auction. Like, the most expensive player is Squeeb for 98, the 96, 86. Like, he can't just have his choice like CC did in the Majors draft last night and kind of fill out with those mid players, even if like that's an optimal move, which I don't know given the talent distribution.
All right, let's see. How many people have been drafted yet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So I might have everyone then. This is a yes.
And we have Alpha Churro on the board. He was top defender in minors last season.
Yeah.
The young hotties.
Yep, I know a little bit about him because I had to do research. He made the Mooper last season with the Yachties and put up a very good season overall. Unfortunately, came up just a bit short, but has impressed the past couple seasons now.
Yeah, and he was a rookie in minors, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Straight from B team, actually. I'm looking at his TPL. Shout out to TPL. So definitely a rising star. Even subbed some majors for Holden Gate. Less successful there, but that's a little to be expected. Now I guess it remains to be seen how he'll play, not next to Omar, who's definitely a strong defender to play next to.
Right, yeah.
Or no, was Omar playing for that team?
Yeah, I believe so. It was Omar, Swingin, Galvatron, and Alpha.
Right. Yeah, that's a stacked team.
Yeah.
I was getting confused because Omar also played majors for most of the season as well.
Right.
But he was dual eligible.
Yeah, okay, so I think we found the player that Spheroid is looking for, up to 84. But, the rest of the captains won't let him go easily. Smalley Big still going up pretty high for him. We'll see if we hit the record so far is 98 for Squeeb. We're about 10 away from that right now.
Yeah, that makes sense from Spheroid. I wonder if this was his plan all along, or he's just realizing now that he needs to make a move. I think this would be a good pickup for him to start your team. I can't speak to Alpha Churo's like comms or anything. I've never played with him before in TPM or anything like that, but clearly on some level a very talented defender, and you got to get at least one, it seems.
Yep, and we are very close to it, 97 now for Spheroid. Of course, Spheroid always does have the opportunity to just go 114 and knock out Smalley, but that would be a pretty big spend, and this, if he goes up one more time, that will be the highest player it is now with 99 from Spheroid.
And we break 100.
We've hit the century, very exciting. Last night, 5 or 6 players maybe hit the 100 mark, but now just one, looks like, and not only a couple teams even have 100 coins left, as the first round of players are pretty much done, but we're still going up. Alpha Churro on the board. Spheroid and Smalley Biggs both really want this player.
Yeah, if Smalley gets him, that's his defense locked up with minimal coins to spend on offense. I wonder if he's this supremely interested, or if he's mostly just bidding up, but like low-key hoping. Hard to say. Maybe interested, though. He seems to be bidding pretty aggressively.
Yeah.
As is Spheroid. I think Spheroid should just bid 114 now and get it over
I think he will. Curry says Poggers. Very exciting.
Curry's happy because now this is going to leave him with the second most coins, regardless who gets him.
And Smalley does go the 114, and there's Spheroid. Didn't save the 1 coin, has to spend 115 to get him.
Missed opportunity there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Might cost him. So, Alpha Churro, big spender here from Spheroid on him, and I will be interested to see how this works. I honestly have not seen him play a lot. So yeah, interested to watch that team.
Yeah, definitely very interesting, because I mean, you know, he did very well last season, but that's with another great defender in Omar. And now the question is sort of, can he lead the defense? As we'll see a little bit later tonight who his partner will be, but bit of a question mark there. And spending, 17 more coins than any other player so far in the draft.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see how Spheroid will round out that team.
Alright, so that was Alpha True.
Spheroid has the next nomination, so interesting. I'm wondering if he will nominate someone he doesn't want, because right now he's left with third least coins out of 8. Also, sorry, I said Curry had second most. He has third most because CC still has 131 in the corner.
Also, I had forgotten before, but Q42 now officially under the commentator section on the stream. So
I made it.
Oh yeah, I suppose now we've heard this song for a while. Let's see, I can switch. We'll just play my favorite TagPro songs. They're all so good.
And we have ASAP on the board. Some quick bids from both Spheroid and Jarvis, and then Curry. Another kind of staple in the community and has been in minors for a good amount of seasons now. A lot of captains interested.
Yeah, this is definitely a pick that a lot of people are waiting for. It's just a question of who's going to be the one to nominate him. But certainly worth the tag coins, and for teams, we're looking at G6 and the Dolphins. They're probably willing to spend all their tag coins left at this point. Those would be their 3rd out of 4 players. So,
yeah, I big agree on that. Sure enough, Griff goes to 72, but quickly gets outbid.
Yep, I'm expecting. Let's see. CCGA does have, the power with the most coins if he needs to. I do think he will push Jarvis at least to 90. Or at least someone will. Maybe it'll be Smalley.
Yeah, for sure. That would be probably a smart move. Don't know if ASAP will be playing D or O. He's done both. Definitely has some grabby tendencies on offense, but makes it work a lot of the time. Jarvis up to 90. There we go.
And we'll look for the 91. Anyone? Bueller? There it is. So Smalley ends up forcing Snipe Hunt to spend an extra coin, but then he falls into the same trap by spending an extra coin instead of just going 90 to begin with. Kami actually asked in chat, I don't know what they do if it's a tie, so I don't know if you can actually... I assume you can, if you bid 90 first, as Smalley, you get him, but I don't actually know the rules.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think this also came up last night. There was potential for it. Like, if you both have the same amount of coins, but it's less than the max bid.
Right.
Is it just speed? I'd imagine, but then maybe because of if it's clear that both captains want the person, it might be more fair to wheel, so you don't like have to deal with spreadsheet latency.
Yeah. Right, so now this team, we've got Zig and ASAP, looking very solid. Two very good players, who have been in minors for a few seasons now.
I'll tell you, off those two, that's gonna be one of like the happiest teams to play on. Both those guys are like so positive in game.
Yeah.
I'd have fun on that team.
Alright, so let's see. So now, according to the big board, best available, we've got Sevens, under the name Saint Bernard. We've got, where is it? There we go. We got Will, who's done well. Was on, was he on Mooper Pings last season? I think.
I can't remember.
I don't know. Got 420 going by coming back after a few seasons. We've got Pro Boat, of course. Big surprise last season. Got drafted to majors, but ended up not really being able to play. But no, it'll be Nameless who will be nominated. Nameless.
This is an interesting pick.
Yeah.
Interesting in general. It's just this interesting situation. I remember he got drafted minors, then like dropped because he didn't want to play minors, but then ended up playing minors for a different team or some weird stuff like that. Also, I low-key thought he wasn't playing still because he got banned, but I guess not. Maybe that's mLTP only.
Yeah, a couple people mentioning in chat he was on as as Spheroid was bidding on him. He was on. He was captain of OPH, right? Where that Alpha Churro was on, along with a few other players signed up.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely skill level wise, a minors player though. So
Yep.
if he's trying to manip down to NLTP again, which his chat seems to indicate, who knows what's going to happen? But we shall see. Right now, Jarvis and Spheroid are the only ones looking at him.
Yep. Okay, so
Jarvis
I thought it was done, but
could
no.
get him for low and then still have a good amount of coins to get his last player with.
Yeah.
If he wants, but I guess Spheroid might keep bidding up.
Yep, this one's a slow one. Um, who knows? I don't know what the time limit is, but on how long you have to bid to the next one. But we were all the way up to 18 after all this time. Uh,
Yeah, I'm assuming they're still using the same system as, I guess, 2 seasons ago now, where there's a Discord bot that sends you sends you messages and like gives you a countdown. I think it's like from 15 or 20 seconds per bid, 15 maybe, and it's really stressful. Like when you're not sure if you should keep bidding or not.
Yeah.
And it's like you get little beep, Discord notification on every single message. Like, do I want to go higher on this? It's like auction drafts, hella stressful, in my opinion. At least my first one.
So did you captain a team last season or 2 seasons ago? Was it?
2 seasons ago, I captained the minors team. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So technically, that wasn't my first time captaining, I guess, because I also captained back in the mini season 5.5 of mLTP, for those who remember. Shoutouts. But I was a captain in name only, because Franz was my co-captain, and he basically told me what to do, which I was very grateful for, because I didn't know what I was doing. Which was a fun experience, and I'm glad to have someone like an experienced captain like Franz help me through that process. But then I did it for the first time on my own 2 seasons ago, and it was stressful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never done that, although, I think I always feel like I don't know enough about players, which is why I don't really like to, which is why I need you here to commentate this draft, because I don't know players well enough. But even when I'm playing against them, it's like, oh, now that I've played that game, did I really pay attention to what was happening? So who knows?
Right.
All right. Well,
I think the best thing for me that's been for like learning players and knowing how they actually are is by playing with them in TPM. Shout out tpm.gg.
Yeah.
Gotta give my shout outs where they're due. Yeah, it's like, because you can play against someone and it's really hard to assess how they're doing unless they're like, oh wow, they're getting out on me all the time, or oh wow, they're soloing me all the time, that kind of thing. And the one-on-one play, I think playing with someone is the best way to really kind of know how they play. Also, know their comms, which I think is severely underrated aspect of the game, and if they can listen to comms well / give their own comms appropriately well.
Yep.
Helps you kind of know how they are as a random player, which is fun.
Also, come on, Fender with the react in the Discord channel with cards in it, which messes up my little thing, so it's cut off. No one's allowed to react to those because it'll mess it up. So. But look at that! It's a miracle. Up to 33, and Spheroid finally says it's too high. So Nameless will go over to the Miami Dolphins under Captain Jarvis Landry, and just like that, they've got 3/4 of a team with still 57 tag coins to go.
Yeah, and that's their defense. I'm assuming Ginseng and Nameless are going to be playing defense, as those are like their main positions. At least have been in recent seasons. That I honestly haven't seen Nameless play all that much. I played with him in TPM like once 2 days ago, and I think that's been it in the last couple of years. But I think that's going to be a pretty strong defense. And it's generally the way it works is that the early defender is just like the first person to fill out their defense, their offense will have a good one, at least in the perception of it, because the best players are generally go first. And we have Will 1119 on the board. Speaking of season 21 minors,
Yeah,
I drafted him.
Yeah, definitely a solid player. He's been around a while.
Yeah.
See, a few different See, Curry looking bidding a little bit. He's one of the players, or sorry, he's one of the captains, still looking for 3 players to fill out his team. So
Yeah, and I think Will's a fun case of someone who came back and has gotten better since then. Like, he's played a lot and kind of put in time to not just get back to where he was, but get better, which is fun to see.
mm-hmm.
Because, like, just watching him last season, I think he had already de-rested past the point from when we were playing together and gotten better. So that it's good to see. I'd love to see him keep improving. Not to say that good, because he obviously is a very talented O player. By his own admission, does not like playing defense at all, but definitely a good pickup for pretty much any of these teams. I think no one has a full offense yet, so.
Alright, so my question now is so because of the combination of majors and minors, there isn't the majors DEPs, but is there some sort of system between majors and between minors and NLTP, or is it sort of a free for all?
I believe that's gonna be same as years past, kind of a free for all.
Okay.
As Will goes to Smalley for 19.
Ooh, yeah,
that
wow.
feels low.
Yeah, I like that team
I'm
now.
not gonna say the S word, but I think that's a really good pickup for Smalley.
Yeah. Zig, ASAP, and Will, and a few coins left over, but yeah, now 3/4 of a team so far for the Papa's Penguins.
Yeah, and I guess I still don't know if ASAP's playing O or D. But I think if ASAP and Will are playing offense together, that's scary. I mean, if ASAP and Zig are playing defense together, that's also scary, but I think ASAP and Will would partner together on offense pretty well, just from my experience playing with Will. So interested to see who the 4th pick is on that team, and if that will offer some clarity to what Smalley's looking for.
Yep,
or
and
what
now
ASAP's looking for.
we finally see St. Bernard. That is 7s up on the board right now, so this has been one of the higher people left on the big board, so we've been waiting to see this nomination.
Yeah, 7's another interesting case of someone who's kind of been fringe majors minors. I believe he last played in season 21, got dropped from majors, and then chose not to play minors, which is a very understandable decision. But I don't know where he's at, like, skill wise right now. Clearly had it 2 seasons ago, so he's not like he's gonna be hella rusty. But I haven't seen him around all that much. So interested to see what captains look for him. Certainly a strong defender.
Yep, right now we're looking at a couple of the teams who are still waiting on 3 players. So the Holden Gate Warriors and the Holy Seahawks, bidding, right around 30 now. And of course, those are the 2 teams with the most tag coins left as well. So if either one of these teams gets them for relatively low, they'll still be in good shape to pick up a 3rd player soon.
Yeah, some people pointing out 7's has maybe had internet issues and also like playing a full season issues. So maybe a bit of a risky pickup. But also one with pretty high upside if he is still in form. And because as far as I remember, he has the potential to shut down weak O players kind of on his own.
Yep.
But again, it's been a while, so.
Yeah, and so after this pick, it's, going a little bit slowly. We'll see what it ends up as, but this is sort of the last of the really top players, at least listed on the big board. So, we're looking now at what's left. Most teams we're about the halfway point. I think this is the halfway. This is number 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. Okay. So, so that'll be at 31 tag coins over to the Holden Gate Warriors, and that marks the halfway point of this minors auction draft. For me, if I'm looking at the best available on the big board, I'm looking at Prism. I think that's a really good pickup. I'm looking at Ermigo. I'm looking at D-Rec, Beast Mode, Dr. Ankles, 2P as well.
Yeah, I think the draft is going to get interesting pretty soon. We're going to start to see some, like, which kind of returning minors players people aren't valuing, and which, like, top mLTP players people are highly valuing. And that'll be, I'm just intrigued. And as we say that, Prism is up. Minors last season, I believe Novice 2 seasons ago, won Nooper.
Right, yep.
Has two-way ball capabilities, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
Who was that new? That was a strong Nooper team. That was 2P Prism, Raven,
and Big Money. Yeah, that was the
Big Money. Yeah,
the boomer
all, like,
team.
X Minors players.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's funny to look back on in retrospect, right? Because, like, Raven's now a 50 tag coin major starter 2 seasons later. Prism and 2P. I guess 2P was Novice last season. I thought he was. Maybe he was. I think maybe he was one of the common snubs. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think, like, I remember after their Nooper win, I remember the draft season 22. I was surprised that they didn't end up going for more. Prism and 2P both initially being drafted to NLTP. I'm not sure if 2P, maybe he got some minutes in minors. I guess I'm not sure, but I know Prism did end up getting called up officially to a minors team. And of course, like you said, Raven now up in majors, back at where he used to be.
Yeah, it looks like 2P got 160 minutes last season, so pretty significant.
Okay, yeah.
Second and fifth ball. So, but then it's interesting that, like, how was Raven just hard carrying? I don't know. I think a lot of people wasn't not following. I personally, like, as I was doing that draft right after the season after they won, or no, that would have been the same season. Never mind. Anyways, I wasn't sure, like, was someone hard carrying? Were they all good? Like, that kind of situation. If you don't watch the games, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
Because stats can be deceiving.
Yeah, I think.
But it looks like everyone has kind of held their own sense.
Yeah.
At different levels, but.
Yeah, I think people are often a little bit worried about sort of the question marks. Where these players could be very good, but maybe they're coming back after not playing for a while or something like that. And I think, if we're looking at some of the people, I think a similar situation here is Proboat, because, everyone knows that he could be very good. He was certainly very high on TPM, and, he was everyone's diamond in the rough sort of last season, but then not really able to play, had some computer issues, but and we'll see what happens with him this season.
Yeah, I think Proboat is a fascinating example of, like, one of the first people to really use TPM as their way of moving up in the world, in the TagPro world, and getting drafted to the higher level. Unfortunately, it didn't really pan out. Partially for, his computer issues or whatever, but he didn't look amazing when he played. I think he ended up getting dropped back. And so, like, it's just kind of an interesting phenomenon in my eyes of how useful is TPM ELO strictly as a drafting tool.
Right.
Because it's so variant, right? Like,
right, yeah.
depending on how much you play and if you kind of not game the system, but you can kind of manipulate your way into queues that are favorable, and like only play when you're, awake,
Yeah.
and like not play when you're starting to feel bad, because you have to play majors even when you're feeling bad or whatever.
Yeah, I think
Like even if you're not having a good day.
Yeah, I think he was put in a bad position where everyone was hyping him because of TPM, and it just ended up being overdrafted. But I really would like to see him in minors at some this
Yeah.
season. But anyway, Prism going over to CCGA for 44. That's looking like another Western team. Unsurprising, or well, Prism is actually Eastern, but he's been on a few Western teams.
I feel like those two have also played together at some point in the past.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I associate like Team Prism Squeeb, like those three are all kind of similar in my mind. Like played minors, novice in similar years and stuff.
Yeah, I want.
But I also could be totally wrong.
Yeah, I always forget these things, but I sort of had the same thing. But I think that's a pretty good team right now, and still with 87, that's second most coins, with just Pie Curious 1 coin ahead of him.
Yeah, I like the start to that team for sure. Pun not intended. That's just gonna happen. Sorry, guys. His name is Team. I can start calling him the X Factor again, but
Yeah.
that reference maybe lost on some people.
Oh, that's right.
Or
I think
take notes.
Yeah, someone chat XLTP. That's what it was. I think they were on.
Okay.
Oh, I should remember. But yes.
Prism also in chat saying he and Team played minors together at some point.
Yeah.
So I'm not recollecting that.
I trust Prism. He probably knows what he's done. But...
Yes.
Alright, so next up is Mandalorian, formerly known as Bumblebee.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't realize he's not on your little draft thingy. Is he just not rated on the big board?
Oh, I think
I'm blind.
Yeah,
just kidding.
55.
He's right there. Yeah,
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, another kind of returner. Hasn't been around in a while.
Yeah, I can't say I know too much about them, but coming off a few seasons, looks like Tantru with the 1 bid might just get him.
Yeah, I actually played with Bumblebee back in season 14 of Majors, on Cranios Pandas. It was kind of a weird team. I got picked up free agency, like, not an amazing team, but I thought he had a lot of promise. But that was also 9 seasons ago, and that was on offense. And he says he's playing defense as per his comment. Obviously, no restrictions, but if he's interested in that, then we'll see. But yeah, Tantrum for 1 gets him. So that could be his defense or offense. Feels like a high risk, high reward pick there. I don't have much else to say about him.
Yep, and next up a player who's been mentioned, I think you mentioned a little bit before, and we've seen a bit now, is Dean, formerly J-Bay, or no, currently Bay, formerly Dean, apparently. That's what the big board
formerly
says.
Joba, formerly J-Bay. He's done a lot of things. All in the same vein, though, so it's like easy to remember which ones are him, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
I think J-Bay is a very strong player in this draft, and I think he would be a good pickup for any of these teams. I know he can play both positions, good comms, good game sense. Yeah, strong minors player here.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna say the same thing. Definitely, like, good teammate. Really, like, the comms are a big thing. He's good at pups and calling out pup times and things like that. So we're seeing a bit slow, but a few teams are interested. Tantru bid all his remaining coins at 16, but no one was going to let that happen. So it's still interesting between Spheroid, still looking for 3 players on Snipe Hunt, and G6 and Holden Gate Warriors also interested.
I think I'd like to see Spheroid go for J-Bay here. Just to get some veteran presence on that team. I don't know who else he might be looking at, but I assume he has some like sleepers, hopefully. In which case, then J-Bay could be a nice presence on that team. That being said, he goes to Curry for 23, which is also feels low. Which makes me think that we're getting to the point where captains just kind of have who they want. Like, they have a list of who they want and aren't super interested in other people.
Yeah, that definitely happens in minors quite a bit, and so that'll be 3/4 of the Holden Gate Warriors with Duke of Yor, Saint Bernard, also known as Sevens, and J Bay Bay, also known as Bay.
I'm not exactly surprised to see Curry drafting 3 players who have played majors before. Like, yeah, that's all I'll say. I think that's feels about right for what he tends to go for, and I think that team is looking pretty solid off the bat already. Two-way flexibility with J-Bay and Juke. Yeah, I like that team so far, and he still has 50 coins left. Speaking of, I think this might be one of the last expensive picks in the draft, Ermigo. Definitely high on a lot of people's radars.
Yeah, former teammate of, I know he was on Duke of Yor's XLTP team when they were drafted at T4, and then skyrocketed up into minors last season and did quite well on in the Some Days team, I believe.
Sounds right, yeah. Yep, outpassed. First best valued last season. We'll see if the captains value him more accurately this season.
Yeah, definitely a lot of captains interested. They were impressed with his performance last season. Put up just looking at the numbers as they're showing up on the spreadsheet right now, about a 7 TGASP, which is pretty solid, I would say, but not standout. But I think people have been impressed with his individual play outside of the stats, and we're seeing a few captains going for him now.
Yeah, also a two-way ball, which a pretty pure two-way ball, plays both positions, which I think is increasingly important if you want to win and win a championship. You have to have flexibility at positions, especially as the maps get smaller. You just end up at the other position more often. Being competent or better at both is a huge asset.
Yep. Yeah, definitely you're seeing that a lot more where a lot of times you're more interested in maybe you're going 3D sometimes, or you're having someone stick back on defense, or if someone just happens to be on O, they'll just go O for a sec, and having that ability is always very useful.
Yes, absolutely. And you see 3 captains bidding. Curry goes to 50, which is his max, and I would imagine one of G6 or Pi Curious will go for
surely
51.
They don't let this happen.
But maybe not. Maybe they have different ideas. But I think if Curry gets him here, that is a scary team. Okay, Pi Curious goes 51. Yeah, I think just looking at G6 and Pi Curious, who seem to be the teams in the running, Ermigo has potential to play both positions on either of those teams. Each have... Well, okay, I guess we still don't know what Yis is playing, necessarily.
Right.
And I won't claim to know, because with no restrictions, anything is possible. Even if he says he's playing out, he might end up playing defense. I don't trust him. To be clear, I trust Yis as a person, but with no restrictions, anything's possible. Yeah. And I'm not making any assumptions.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised here if Pi Curious and just go for the 72 to outbid G6. It would leave them with 16 coins left over for their final pick, which is more than the Penguins, tied with the Poppers, and certainly less than the Dolphins and the Warriors. But you're going to be less than them anyway for the most part. So
Yeah, for sure. Some classic up by one action here. You love to see it. I think Anka and Ducky should probably just bite the bullet soon in 72 if it keeps getting higher.
yeah, we've already seen twice that people have gone spent the one extra. I think Spheroid spent one extra on Alpha, and then Small A spent one extra on ASAP. We'll see if Anka just goes for the 72 now. Griff, of course, has to get the 69 and can't go for 68. Only 69.
Yep, and Anka Ducky go for it. Unless CC or Spheroid randomly pops back in, which seems unlikely. That'll be a third player for Pycurious. So they're starting to have some idea as to how their team will shape up. I think that's, I don't know, I feel like an interesting mix of players. I'm not too familiar with Tunets, so I can't make any snap judgments on this team. Ermigo still improving, I would say, so high upside there. Yes, maybe one of the best defenders in minors if he's playing defense. Solid O either way. Interested to see who we'll get for the fourth pick for sure to kind of round out that team and give some positions. And we have Beast Mode on the board. Beast has played both positions, I believe, but I feel like is more commonly on offense. But has two-way flexibility, which is good.
No one's biting currently. We'll see if Spheroid is. I think that's the nomination, right? Spheroid was the nomination if he's actually interested, or if he was trying to get other people to bid. But when you're still looking for 3 players, I feel like he should just be needs to be bidding at some point. I'm not sure who he's waiting for, really.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Also, shout out to 100 viewers in the chat watching this very slow draft. Thank you so much for tuning in, and congratulations to everyone drafted so far.
Nice. We love good viewership numbers. No one bidding on Beast Mode. I am kind of surprised.
Yeah, me too. I think.
Go
ahead.
No, you go for it.
Oh well, yeah. So, I think that I do kind of expect him to come back as we get to maybe people's last picks, but yeah, I'm also a bit surprised by that no one at least goes for him right now.
Yeah, the only reason I'm not entirely shocked is not any slight on Beast Mode's ability as a player. It's just that he's not a flashy stats player. He I feel like he touts himself as being a support O player, which whether or not you think support O exists or not is a different question. I know some people have opinions on that. I think certain players fit into better roles or do certain things more often than others. Beast never gonna be a 10 OGASP player, but a solid player at both positions, like I said. So it's not the kind of flashy stat lines that someone might be looking for in a up and coming player from mLTP, But I would be surprised if he doesn't go in this draft. I think just looking at. It just depends, I guess, how we value top NLTP talent versus minors talent. And I
Yep.
don't know where Beast falls in the entire spectrum of minors talent from last season. Like, on a solid team, like, decent stats. So,
Yep, and so the
we shall
next
see.
nomination will be If You Seek Amy, and Smalley Biggs does put in 1, so this could be contender for the first complete team. If they will go for 1, we'll see.
And I do believe Amy was on Smalley's MLTP team last season.
And he
Big
will
Papa
go
goes
back.
to Olive Garden.
So return to the
maybe
Big
that's
Papa
who,
teams.
Yeah. Maybe that may have been Smalley's plan all along, to pick up Amy for 1 or low at the end of the draft. Sorry, I'd like to talk more about Amy, but I need to comment on Jarvis insta 57ing on No Name. I guess he knows who he wants.
Yep.
But he won't get him because Fever goes 58. There we go.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, if you only, you only got 1 spot left, might as well go for it. But that does tip your hand a little bit. Of course, you'd probably think that usually, if someone's got a number in mind, they wouldn't let him go for 57 anyway. But yeah, so actually two teams still looking at No Name. We've got Snipe Hunt, who still looking for their second player, and the Holy Seahawks with CCGA. CCGA actually has the upper hand with 2 extra tag coins right now, and he has an additional player, so
yeah, I'm interested to see who picks him up. I know he's been, at least in very recent times, he went on a huge win streak in TPM, so maybe that's influencing captain's opinions. I haven't seen him play much in Novice, which is where he's been for a while, I think, unless he's been playing under a different name. But I think he kind of took a long break, just looking at his TPL, played season 10 of Novice, then returned in season 18, and then played last season, did quite well, it seems, led league and hold, so he's got something going for him. Plus 45 plus minus, always a good stat to see. So definitely kind of returning to form, maybe, or maybe even improving on past form.
Yep, and so up to 67 now is the current bid from Spheroid and Snipe Hunt. See what CCGA is gonna do. Yeah, I think he's just gonna let him go. He does. That'll be the second pickup for Snipe Hunt. So far, they've got Alpha Churro and No Name with 18 tag coins remaining.
So that's Spheroid's first O player. He finally gets an O player to shape his next 2 picks.
Alright, so we're heading towards the home stretch. Well, maybe it's I'm jumping the gun a little bit. We've only got, I think, 10 picks left. Just the one team that's completely rounded out. That's the Mr. Papa's Penguins. Griff is going to be up nominating next.
Yeah, Griff. We have 3 captains still with just 2 players, 1 in each position. So I would imagine we'll see some of the bigger names left that those players want. Really, CC and Griff have the coins and the power to get whoever they want, or some of whoever they want. And D-Rec on the board. I believe. Let me look it up so I don't get it wrong. Yeah, okay. So he was dual eligible novice call-up minors last season.
Mm-hmm.
Played offense in novice, defense in minors. Has played both, it looks, kind of throughout his career. A player I feel like I've recognized as being good in novice for a while. So maybe other captains are interested as well in that, getting him up for a full season.
Yep,
He goes for one.
He goes for just
Spheroid.
one, so it's just Spheroid who's interested. And I believe I think he won a Nooper Ball, maybe, on a team with Alpha, or maybe it was a season on OPH, maybe when he won a Nooper and Alpha won a Booper or something like that. So there's a little bit of chemistry there.
Yeah, D-Rec won season 17 novice. I can look up when Alpha won.
And the next nomination is Jerry.
Yep. Love to see Jerry on the board. I hope he actually gets picked, unlike MP, as far as Euros go. Yeah, and Alpha won the Booper that season when D-Rec won the Nooper season 17 OPH sweep.
Yep. Yeah, so Griff types out Bates in her bidding. I do think, we're getting to the point where really all the teams with just one player left, they're scared to nominate who they really want because someone could just take them, so they're just going to nominate someone perhaps looking for someone else to take, but really just anyone sort of that they're not exactly looking for.
Yeah, and Jerry doesn't go, so that was a Jarvis nom, and Griff certainly, like, Jerry has played on Griff's teams before. Like, there's a connection there. Griff typing Bates, and I wonder if Griff does want Jerry, but because she knows, like, she'll have another chance at him, she's just not getting him now, so she can still outbid Jarvis in case there's someone else. Or I'm reading into this too much and Griff just isn't interested, but
yeah,
it's weird, like, meta draft game stuff potentially going on here. I hope not, because that's kind of weird, and I'm starting to doubt this whole, like, if they get nommed and no one bids, they just go back thing.
Yeah. It is kind of funny where what maybe should happen is basically, like, I mean, it's not quite at that situation yet, but when everyone only has one player left, like, you might as well just make it a snake draft, starting with whoever has the most coins left.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what it turns into. I mean, it can actually be that, and everyone always just nominates someone who they don't necessarily want, just in case. But the thing is, it doesn't actually matter, because if you nominate, like, if you were to nominate someone who you did want and you were going to be outbid, well, then someone else who had more tag coins would have just nominated them themselves and taken them. So but
it feels maybe unnecessarily complicated right now, but either way, we have our next nom, and we'll see if anyone actually bids. It's Suicyanide, formerly Mochdestu, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's actually on the packet. Okay, that was only a one season name change. I couldn't remember. Last played season 20.
Yeah, at this point, we're just waiting for the cycle to go around until CC can nominate someone, because he will hopefully nominate someone he actually wants. Except that, I mean, the thing is, right, maybe he's like, well, I still have to get 2 players, so I'm not going to nominate someone I want, and then no one ever nominates anyone, and we sit here forever, and the draft never ends.
I really, really hope that doesn't happen. Alright, Proboat nominated. Please, someone take him.
We were thinking about it. There's
because
the one
he's
from
actually
Curry.
Good.
Yeah.
One from Curry. Let's go.
So he's definitely getting picked up.
I mean, he played on Curry's team last season, right? That was
I have no
Is Curry gonna
idea.
get him in 2 consecutive seasons, but for minors this time?
Oh, and CCGA is
Or wait, was
interested
he
as
on Kirby's
well.
team? Oh no, sorry, wrong team.
Yeah, so Probo, let's see. I think he's naturally, or well, he would choose to be a defender. But when I played with him, he in XLTP, he did play offense, just sort of how we drafted. So he could go either way. Um, Not sure what it depends what team he's put on.
Yeah, I'd imagine he'll go defense. I think that is his stronger position, just because I don't think he's played offense in outside of XLTP,
Yeah,
and sometimes just having experience does matter. Looks like Curry is pretty interested here.
I like the 37 bid, making sure that if CCGA gets him, he has to at least have less than 50 left, so Curry would have a priority afterwards. But
Good call, yeah. The question is, does Curry go all the way up to 50?
yeah, I think he might as well.
Currently, Griff and CC both interested as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, let it rip, Curry. Oh, no, he's deleted his bid. Maybe he's out.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason not to go for 50 for Curry, but regardless, it looks like, yeah, there you go. CCGA does go for the 50 bid, so we'll see if Griff continues to push him. Yeah, Griff does go up to 51. So it's still a two-team battle between the G6 and the Holy Seahawks. The two teams still waiting for two players left to be drafted, and the two teams with the most tag coins. Holy Seahawks, they do have the opportunity to go 72 if they wanted to, but we will see.
Curry putting some math in his bid box
Yeah.
to show the viewers potentially what he's thinking.
Yeah, that's because he originally typed 27 to force CC to go up to 28. Then I think realized his mistake, so he typed 37. But yeah, now we're at 1 point up every 15 seconds. So at this rate, we will be done with this pick in about 7 minutes.
Math major, by the way. It's okay, Curry. Subtraction is hard. Also, auction drafts are stressful, and I totally would have butchered that too.
Yeah. Oh boy. Alright. 57.
I'm actually... So, if Probo goes to Griff, we're looking at, I believe, a defense that both of whom haven't played a full season of minors.
Interesting.
Because HD, I'm just double checking, but yeah, he's only moved up to A team last season after winning 3 boopers. So clearly should have done that earlier, but that's beside the point. Not his fault. And then Proboat, obviously jumping straight from B team last season to majors. He had some minors loan minutes when he played novice as well.
And so that'll do it. 57 is actually going to be it. Won't force Griff to go all the way up to 72, but 57 will be Proboat, and he will be the third member of G6.
Yeah, so we'll see how that defense shakes out. certainly a lot of potential there. Both players like haven't even been around for that long, relatively speaking, compared to some of these players. Pro Boat, I believe this is going to be his 3rd season. Yeah, so a lot of room to grow for him, certainly, as always. But HD also first season of minors. Yeah, looking forward to seeing how that works.
Yeah.
I don't feel qualified to make a snap judgment either way, so TBD.
Yeah, that should definitely be an interesting team to watch. Some some young players in terms of the minors experience, and but certainly I think a lot of pretty high upside, Pro Boat especially. But we'll see. And we're down to the final 8. Every team has 1 left, with the exception of the Holy Seahawks, who have 2, and the Penguins, who have already finished up. Can we just skip to the Holy Seahawks nomination, please? Because
yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be more draft metagaming going on. Spheroid with the nom, he has 17, which is 1 more than Tantru, 2 more than Griff, so he has some say, but he definitely doesn't want to lose out on someone that he really wants if one of the other 3 captains is interested. Sorry, he also has 1 more than Anka and Ducky, so he's right in the middle.
All right, well, this has been fun. Good luck to everyone in the next few picks. We'll see what happens. Maybe I don't fall asleep while it's happening. But
as long as you leave the OBS going, I'll get the commentary for the last 8. I'm not going to bed anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, I'm not either. My sleep schedule is all messed up anyway. Why haven't I signed up, Kami? That is a good question. No comments.
We have Sadness nominated. Sadness, yeah, okay. Just double checking. His TPL is out of order, which is frustrating. But most recently, O-Ball of the season in Novice this past season. So clearly a top talent there last season.
Yep, and certainly teams interested. Of course, now looks like the difference between 57 for Pro Boat and maybe 55 as Anka and Ducky with the 1 extra tag coin, and that's going to be enough to get Sadness over the 15 bid from Griff, so that will round out the team of Pie Curious, 2 Nuts, Yes, Ermigo, and Sadness.
We have 2 players coming up from Novice on that team, 2 Nuts and Sadness. And then Yes and Ermigo, who've both been around for a while, because Ermigo played way back in the day as Aram Jordan, and then took 10 seasons off and then came back. So it feels kind of like a new player. He's actually been around a while. Yes, similar situation, took a while off in the middle there. Some storylines for you. Again, some position flexibility with Ermigo and Yes, depending on what they want to do there.
Yeah, and Balanka in chat says good team. Well, I mean, it is your team, so that's good that he thinks it's good. Their draft is done for the night, as the next nomination is going to be Grimrog, formerly known as Dr. Ankles, I believe.
And Jarvis with the quick 57 again.
Yeah, well, okay, that's
cutting to the chase.
Yep, it's only up to CCGA if he wants Ankles or not. Otherwise, it will be the Jarvis pick. Doesn't look like it. I feel like There's no reason to wait if you weren't going to do it. So, yep, that will be 57 for ankles. That's just Jarvis making sure, using all of his coins. And that will finish up the Miami Dolphins roster with VZ, Get Right, formerly known as Ginseng, Nameless, and Grimrog, formerly known as Dr. Ankles.
Looks like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out their positions just real quick. VZ on O for sure. I believe Nameless on D. And Ankles has played both. Ginseng has played both. So
Yeah.
I would imagine Ginseng D.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. But
Ankles most recently played defense, but started out playing offense. So who's to say for sure?
Ooh, and Wasa, looks like a couple teams wanted to. 16 Tantru goes for, using all of his coins, but not enough, as Spheroid, with the one extra tag coin, is the difference. 17 is the bid for Wasa, and it's a good chance he's going to win them. Don't see anyone else jumping in, only Curry or CCJ would have that option.
Wasa, another player who's been like dominating mLTP for a while, it feels like. At least he won the Nooper last season, so that's saying something. Generally just putting up great stats at both positions in the last 2 seasons. So probably due for a move up. Has played minors before. Looks like maybe rotationally or on loan. But yeah, excited to see him in minors. Probably where he deserves to be.
Yep, alright, so we've now got half the teams fully set, just a few picks left.
So Wasa rounding out that team, I believe, leaves them with Wasa on... Wait, what does D-Rec play again? Does he play D? It's in his name. It's confusing me.
Who knows? Let's see.
I got it. D-Rec plays both. Okay, so that's why I'm confused. So that team, Alpha on D for sure, No Name on O for sure. D-Rec and Wasa both have the potential to go both ways. Wasa in chat confirming he goes both ways. Thank you, Wasa.
Alright, the next nomination is Yeah, formerly known as 420. Highest currently left on the big board. I don't know too much about him.
Is this also formerly known as Anti-Re?
Maybe?
Same guy? I
think that sounds
ought to know,
something reasonable. Twitch chat surely knows. Yes, okay. Twitch chat agrees with you.
Cool.
So yeah, Anti-Re might have been... No, was he my teammate once? No. I think he was on Boost in one season, though. I can't remember.
Yeah, he's last been just kind of a solid minors player, although I guess no one is gonna pick him up. At least not this time around. Maybe that was a throwaway nom from Curry to try to bait CC.
Yeah.
And TBD, we're getting to the point where people can't get, like, some people can't get nominated twice. Like, if they go twice, then you have to actually get them. And Sugar is nominated by Tantru, who bids 1 and then bids 16. I respect it. Sugar?
Who is Sugar? Is this a rookie?
So,
or someone I haven't?
I think so. Sugar has been playing TPM, I know. has been like doing solid, like somewhere in, I've played some games with Sugar, so like mid elo, but I think a legitimate rookie. So
Yeah,
Tenshu has done his TPM scouting, taking a risk.
Yep, big risk from Tenshu. The comment says under Sugar, I haven't had any seasons. I just started. I'm a rookie. So
and hopefully they're actually a rookie and not a Smurf. That's all I can
yes,
say.
right, yeah. So that looks like our first rookie of the draft. Last season there were a few, with agency.
Chat saying it's Cook.
CCGA goes for the 2P1S nomination. Curry. Curry. I knew he'd do that. The 37 to at least force.
Yep, there we go.
But he does go all 50. We'll see if CC does actually want him. Former teammate of Prism, as we mentioned. One of those Uber players. Yep, and he will go for 51 over to the Seahawks. And Curry just definitely making sure that now he will have the most tag coins of anyone left.
So who does Curry want?
That's a good
question. Who does he get with his 50 tag coins?
Yeah, so we're looking at the last 3 picks now. Who do each of these players want? I assume Griff is going to do another throwaway, and just wait for Curry to nom next.
I still think Griff actually still wants Jerry.
Yeah.
That's my take. But I don't know. I think you're right. I think she'll try to nom someone who Curry or CC wants. But I don't know who, like, no names are jumping out at me as, like, obvious pickups for either two of them, like, same teammate history type of deal.
Yeah.
Oh, Sacco is still available. Like, CC can go for Sacco and just fully reunite, or, well, almost fully reunite that team just with, I guess that would be team instead of Raven. And then make Sebastian very happy by getting Sacco back into minors. Could happen. Yeah, so that's the only one that jumps out at me. If Curry continues to go for X Majors players, an intriguing option still available is Helen Keller.
Yes.
Who took many seasons off, but is back apparently. I've seen them around in some TPM games. Not sure how they compare to minors these days, I'll be honest. So that could be a high risk, high reward pick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know who Curry needs here or who he wants here. Obviously, any of the names like in the top 20 of the remaining players I could see going to minors.
Yep.
Just comes down to a preference, really.
Yep. And we'll see what position they want, maybe. Although I feel like there are plenty of two-way balls, so maybe you're thinking you're just looking for the best overall player, really. But we're still waiting on this nomination.
Yeah.
Just 3 left. Hopefully, should be wrapped up pretty soon.
Yeah, I guess Curry's last pick would hinge on what J-Bay is playing. Also Joy, yeah, so that could be either position. Prism and 2P are both two-way balls as well, so CC's last pick could be either position. Yeah. And Griff, that's pretty set. She needs an offense, it would seem. So Jerry, obviously notorious Jerry Baller, two-way player, but obviously has to start somewhere. Anti-Re 420 Yay is still available as an experienced minors offense player. Potentially Beast Mode could fit that slot if he wants. Um, yeah, I don't know. Waiting on Griff's nomination here. Out of the teams assembled so far, which one do you think you like the best?
That's an interesting question.
Mooper winner right now.
Yeah,
Who
right.
of these 5.
Of the 5, can't pick any of the 3. Well, playing 3v4 is really tough, so I really don't know how the, Seahawks and the Warriors and G6 are gonna do. But we do see a pick actually. Acuron is nominated, and immediately the 15 from the Holy Seahawks.
So interesting. Okay, so another Western player coming through. Played B team last season, won the Booper. I think was heavily slept on in the B team draft last season. This is my one point of credit. I told Rick to draft Acuron. I didn't do anything as a co-captain except help Rick vaguely with the draft, but mostly just let him do his own thing because I'm not actually a good drafter. But I did tell him to draft Acuron in like the 5th or 6th round of the Snake B team last year. He's like, I know he's Western, but he's the best player available, and like by far, and you just got to get him. So won the Booper, been grinding TPM, not really a B teamer. So yeah, I think that's a good pickup.
Yeah, I think like you said, he's done a lot in TPM recently, and I've seen him. I've been impressed with him there, and we do see Beast Mode coming back up with the nomination from Curry. But getting deleted? I don't really know.
Unclear. It looks like he didn't bid and then bid last second, and then it didn't go through.
Now it says 0.
The Beast Mode is on the roster right now for 0.
Okay. Not that it matters what number it is, but although maybe it does. Maybe that. No, I don't know. I guess it depends on if they're doing
it actually doesn't. It's
okay.
All go.
Yeah.
The coins don't matter after the draft because there's no Snake to follow it up or anything like that. So yeah, that'll round out Curry's team. A lot of two-way flexibility on that team. I'll say that much. I can't even call their lineup. But I would probably put sevens on D, and then I think you put I don't know. You put a D with him, either Joy or J-Bay. I think you put Beast on O for sure.
Yeah, I guess I haven't played with Joy recently, but I would have guessed J-Bay you'd stick on defense, and maybe if like you think your top players are Joy and sevens, you can split them up. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think J-Bay does prefer defense, at least in recent times. So that's probably the way to go. Yeah. So definitely the kind of a boomer team as far as you can get boomer teams. A heavily experienced team for sure. Yeah, so I'm excited to see how that team does. A lot of players who I kind of came up with way back in the day. I played against J-Bay and Novice back in season 5, I think it was. Or no, I didn't play against him, but whatever. You get the point. Yeah. Season 7. Yeah, he beat me in the Noober. How could I forget? Beast Mode similarly been around for a while. Joy also. 7's actually probably the least experienced players in terms of number of seasons, but again has majors experience. So I'll have to say I'm not surprised to see Curry going for that type of draft. I think each of the captains did kind of what I would have expected from them.
Yep.
Spheroid going for a lot of mLTP players. Curry getting former majors players. CC going west.
Yeah, so I
All
didn't
checks
answer
out.
your question before because a couple new picks have been. But now, of the 7 teams, and we're just waiting on the last pick from Griff. If I'm looking at who I'm favoring right now, it's tough. Of course, I don't, especially some of the players coming up from novice, I don't have the best knowledge of. But I think the Penguins, Mr. Papa's Penguins, are looking pretty good. Zig, ASAP, Will, and Amy. Then the Seahawks again. Prism team and 2P they've been minors for a long time, and they're all very solid, and I like Acuron as well. So those are the 2 teams I'm looking at. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I think it's really tricky to call, just because there's a lot of that like could make or break a team's draft that I have no clue how they're gonna pan out. Like notably, I'm looking at the 7th pick. I'm looking at like Tancher's Sugar and Bumblebee pick. Both of those kind of high risk, high reward. So it's always easy to go with the known quantities.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be like your Holden Gate, your Penguins, and Seahawks. But I think I agree. I think Seahawks will be formidable. I also think that if VZ can return to form, the Dolphins are looking scary.
Yep.
Similarly with Gasol and the Poppers, like there's just I'm not actually giving an answer, but yeah, I think if I had to pick someone to win the Mooper right now, well, okay, now we can actually consider all 8 teams because Griff has finally selected Dusk.
Yep.
That's her 4th pick, which actually is also not a surprise. And they're like best friends.
Yeah.
So that'll round out her team, not Jerry, as we may have suspected. So actually that's Jerry, because he'll get to play an LTP where he can play on East Coast servers, because I still think they do server splits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so so these are the teams. Again, congratulations to everyone who was drafted, and for everyone else. Tune in, I'm sure next week it usually is. Should be next Sunday, should be the NLTP draft, so certainly sign up for that. Should be a good season of NLTP. In terms of these teams, like you said, a lot of unknown quantities maybe, with people coming back. Definitely VZ, and I would say 2 on the Poppers with Gasol and Sugar being a rookie. But yeah, I mean, the past couple seasons of minors have been really good.
Bumblebees.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Chip Poppers, big question marks, but certainly high potential. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for the season to follow along at least. No team really like stands out as a weak draft, I think, because there's always just the potential for NLTP, quote, NLTP players to just pop off. Like looking at Snipe Hunt, for example, they have 3 players coming from novice, but that could be the best team, and I wouldn't be like absolutely stunned.
Yeah.
So anything is possible.
Yep. All right. Well, after we've got under 2 hours and 15 minutes, so we've got the sub 2:15. Not bad for a draft. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and again, congratulations for those of you who were drafted, and good luck of the season. Hopefully, I'll be streaming some games, minors games mainly this season, but we'll see what happens as the next couple weeks play out. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and yeah, play TPM. Also, shout out to Q42 for helping me commentate.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Good night. See you, everyone.